What are we discussing on today's Locked On Diamondbacks podcast? How the D-backs barely hung on against the New York Mets, and why is Justin Martinez not shut down for the Arizona Diamondbacks?
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You're listening to who? The charismatic host of this podcast, Millard Thomas, multimedia journalist and a graphic designer. So please go check out my website, millardthomas24.myportfolio.com. On there you can see all my latest work, from my packages to my articles to my photos and my graphic design. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first order. On today's Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, we're going to be breaking down Game 2 against the Mets. D-backs barely hanging on for that win. We'll talk about why Justin Martinez not shut down for the D-backs, and then we'll wrap up the podcast by talking about the Jekyll and Hyde season for Zac Gallen. So a whole bunch I want to talk to you guys about today. But first, as always, just want to say thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen every day. I would not be able to do this podcast without you, my loyal listeners, sharing, subscribing, reviewing, doing all that so I could do this podcast for you. Thank you. It's free. It's available on all platforms. So please continue to tell your friends. And one of those platforms is YouTube. Please hit subscribe to Locked On Diamondbacks on YouTube. We have been going live Sunday through Thursday after D-backs games. It's an interactive show. You could drop comments in the YouTube section, and I'll respond as the show goes on. So if you want to watch live after games, follow me on Twitter at CareerThomas24 for the personal account, or look up Locked On Diamondbacks both Twitter and Instagram, because I always tweet out before I go live, or just hit that little bell notification next to the subscribe button on YouTube so you get notified also when I go live. But now let's get into the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. All right, back here on the Locked On D-backs podcast. And now let's talk about D-backs versus New York Mets, because this was a game where you watched it through the first 6-7 innings, and it felt like the D-backs were destined to lose that game. I don't know how the D-backs pulled out that victory. They came alive in the last 2 to 3 innings of the ball game. Watching the game for the first 2 hours, I was like, this is going to be another frustrating D-backs loss against a team that they really need to get these wins against. We had a disappointing series against the Braves. We saw last year how early season against the Braves can set you back the rest of 2024. This year is 2025. We lost that series against the Rays, and we've lost series against the Cubs, and the common theme in a lot of those series has been squandered opportunities. I thought in this game against the New York Mets, like we saw them do in game number 1, I thought it was going to be another game where the D-backs don't capitalize on their opportunities. Meanwhile, the New York Mets just bludgeon and capitalize on all the mistakes by the D-backs, because Corbin Burnes was out there. He was struggling. He was laboring through this game. He did not look fantastic. We'll talk more about Corbin Burnes later in the segment. The offense was lackluster. Again, not getting your clutch hits. We didn't see any sort of power today. D-backs continue to not really create chaos or havoc on the bases. But in the end, Corbin Burnes, Geraldo Perdomo, and the bullpen did just enough to eke out this win for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And it's against an opponent in the New York Mets, like the Atlanta Braves. We're going to be vying for a playoff spot all season long against the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies, the Padres, the Giants. Like, I'm sure I forgot a team there. The Cubs, the Reds. Like, the D-backs need to win these series. And obviously you can't win every series against a good team. But also, when you are watching your team against these series and you clearly see your team beating themselves up, creating errors on defense, not capitalizing in clutch situations, starting pitching struggling, bullpen not coming through in high leverage moments, like, you look at your team and you're like, it's you guys that are the problem. The other team is not even beating you. It's you guys who go out there and are not grabbing the victory. You guys are going out there not playing with a sense of urgency and just kind of rolling over. And the D-backs did not do that in this game number 2 against the New York Mets. They might have done it in game number 1, but not in game number 2, because I do believe the identity of the D-backs so far in 2025, despite their up and down nature, despite their inconsistency, I would still say resilience has been the identity of the D-backs in 2025. They're still the answer backs. They're still the comeback kids. And we saw in today's game, D-backs scored 2 runs in the 7th to take the lead. And that's been kind of the philosophy to the magic of the D-backs all season. It doesn't matter those first 6 innings, score runs in the 7th and 8th, and you can still steal a game. And that's what the D-backs did in game 2 against the Mets. They stole the game because you got a classic, I guess, for the D-backs fans, a classic Corbin Burnes start, because it was another start where he did not have the command on his pitches. He was really laboring through 6 innings. The cutter command just wasn't there. The feel wasn't there. He had more walks than hits allowed. He had 5 walks. Corbin Burnes did a lot of traffic on the bases. Like another start where Corbin Burnes just did not look like he's worth the money. And I'm still waiting to be impressed. I'm still waiting to, sit back in my chair and go like, man, I could see why that guy's been considered one of the top Cy Young candidates the last few years, why he's been considered a tier 1 pitcher in baseball. We just have not seen that yet by Corbin Burnes in 2025. But even with that being said, the only stats that matter, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, despite the traffic, despite the command issues and the walks, Corbin Burnes once again did not allow the damage. And so great resilience by Corbin Burnes. I want to see a little bit more from a guy making $35 million a year, but another quality start where I can't complain with the way he did today. And like we said, if Corbin Burnes has a good start against the Mets, he's going to walk away with a pretty good ERA, a 3.58 ERA now through 6-7 starts for Corbin Burnes in 2025. Like, you'll definitely take that. The bullpen, they did a good job outside of Justin Martinez. They had some shutdown innings. We got the return of Kevin Ginkel. He came in and cleaned up a little bit of a mess. Ryan Thompson really saved the day as we saw Justin Martinez struggle. And we'll talk more about Justin Martinez in segment number 2. Excuse me, but he clearly does not look right. And so we really needed Ryan Thompson in this game. And thankfully, he was able to come in and save the day for the D-backs. The offense, though, despite it doing enough late, Perdomo came in off the bench, clutch hit to deliver the D-backs the lead and eventually the victory. And of course, Perdomo did it as the number 9 hitter for Arizona because he seems to just thrive out of that number 9 hole for the D-backs. But what I do want to know is, why do these no-name pitchers keep dominating the Arizona Diamondbacks? Today it was, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Brazaben. Like, I watched the game, I still don't know how to pronounce his game. He was a just opening starter for the Mets, not even a real starter, just one of those relievers starting the game. Then they had Wardell. Again, Wardell, I can't even pronounce his name. He hadn't pitched in years, right? I don't think he's pitched on the major league level since 21 or 2022, they said, and he looked fantastic. The Mets pitching today was fantastic. Thankfully, we saw our old friend Chris Davinsky come in because we know he's not very good. Surprised to see that he's still on a major league roster. I was thankful when he came in the game because I felt like the D-backs were going to win once I saw Davinsky on the mound. But overall, this was a game where the D-backs resilience shined. Corbin Burnes, resilience through 6 innings to labor through the command issues. The offense showed resilience to labor through the lackluster innings, 1 through 6, and then come through late in the game. And the bullpen showed resilience because of Justin Martinez, his struggles, but we were able to work around it with Ryan Thompson. This was a complete team effort by the D-backs. You needed every face to step up, and I was very happy to see that they did. My one critique from this game, Torey Lovello is a platoon guy. Why were we sitting Geraldo Perdomo and Pavin Smith and then stacking our lineup with righties with a righty on the mound? I don't understand why Torrey did that. Again, sitting our best players in a series of this magnitude when we just had a day off a couple days ago just does not make a lot of sense to me. But now we'll talk about the health of Justin Martinez and AJ Puck in segment number 2. But first, I want to talk to you guys about Monarch Money because ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop just managing your money and start building your wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I've cut back on DoorDash and I save so much more money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Back here on the Locked on Diamondbacks podcast. So now let's discuss the Dbacks bullpen and their health issues because we saw Justin Martinez in game number 1 against the Mets. And I want to know, why are the Dbacks pitching J-Mart? He's a guy who clearly does not look right because his velocity is just way down right now. I just want to know why the D-backs are pitching J-Mart. Why are they not putting him on ice until his velo returns? It's so weird. And I've been the guy begging the D-backs to play J-Mart more. I know this is a very hypocritical topic coming from me because I'm always begging Torrey to play Justin Martinez more, use him as the closer. But now I'm begging the D-backs to stop pitching J-Mart until he looks fully right, fully healthy, that velocity is back. Let's put Justin Martinez on ice. For a team that talks a lot about workload and managing players' health, the D-backs sure don't do a good job at it, right? You look at their 2 best relievers in Justin Martinez and AJ Puck. What's the issue with both of them? J-Mart, his velocity is not there, health concerns. AJ Puck, not even pitching right now. And we'll actually talk about him more later in this segment. But you can definitely put some of the blame when it comes to the health issues of those 2 guys on the shoulders of D-backs leadership. J-Mart is a flamethrower, averages 100 miles per hour on his fastball, right? The velo isn't there, so why are we pitching J-Mart? If he's the guy that averages 100, can ratchet it up to 102, 103, 104, but right now he's topping out at 97. What sense does it make to pitch him? If he clearly doesn't look right, he's a flamethrower pitcher who can't throw flames right now. It's coming out with not as much heat as we want. I don't understand why the D-backs are pitching him. Like, the D-backs are finally utilizing J-Mart the way I want him to be used, but now is not the right time, which is crazy to think about. Like, you waited the whole season to finally start using J-Mart as the closer, but you start doing it when he's not 100%. It's just another situation of this D-backs team putting their relievers in the worst possible situations. And then you look at a guy like AJ Puck. Torey Lovullo has already taken some of the blame for AJ Puck's injury this season. Thankfully, we got some good news. It doesn't look like AJ Puck will be done for the year. He's avoiding surgery. He's going to be shut down for a few weeks. It's going to be one of those situations like we saw with Jared Jones earlier in the year. He was very, much on that, is he going to get Tommy John surgery? And then they said, you know what? We'll just put you on the 60-day and we'll shut you down for a couple months. Looks like AJ Puck is going to get the same treatment. So if Puck is able to come back later in the year, fully healthy, not skip a beat, that's going to help out this D-backs team so much. We were so scared that it was going to be Tommy John surgery. So the fact that he's just going to be shut down for a few weeks, potentially 2 to 3 months. I mean, that is actually best case scenario for AJ Puck. So if the D-backs are in the wild card race around the All-Star break with Puck coming back, that will be like adding a piece at the trade deadline. It'll be like adding AJ Puck at last year's trade deadline. It'll invoke the same kind of feeling. So D-backs need to be in the wild card race because I am scared. I am concerned. They like to drop a lot of winnable games, but if they can at least stay in the mix around the deadline, they got AJ Puck coming back. That is going to be a big boost to the D-backs in the second half. But even without AJ Puck, or even with AJ Puck, I still believe the D-backs should remain aggressive and still go all in on a guy like Ryan Hesley. Now, I would not give up Jordan Lawler in a Ryan Hesley deal. I think the D-backs should pull the trigger, go out there, get the St. Louis Cardinals closer, but they should not do it if it involves Jordan Lawler. The Cardinals GM should definitely ask for Lawler. They should pick up the phone call and say, hey, you want Hesley? Give us your top prospect, Jordan Lawler. That is not what Nico Harrison did with Luka Doncic. That is what the Cardinals GM needs to do to the D-backs when it comes to trading Ryan Hesley. You have to ask for the best package, the best return. Now, Mike Hazen, he should say no. You should not give up Lawler in any deal. But after Lawler, start that drop-down method that you see in marketing, and then let's start the real conversations because we do need Ryan Hesley on this D-backs team, both for the short term with the health concerns of both AJ Puck and Justin Martinez, but also for the second half because if this bullpen comes together in the second half, they're fully healthy, and the D-backs are in the mix. Imagine a 7-8-9 combination. You're closing out games with AJ Puck, Justin Martinez, and Ryan Hesley as your 7-8-9. Then you still have as high leverage relievers Kevin Ginkel, Ryan Thompson, Jalen Beeks, Shelby Miller, Kendall Graveman. Like, that is an elite bullpen. That is a World Series bullpen if the D-backs can get there, of course. So I would still say go out there, poke around the market, see if you could get the Ryan Hesleys of the world if they don't break the bank. See if you could find another AJ Puck on this year's trade market because they're still, even though Puck is going to be shut down for a few weeks, it's still not guaranteed that he's going to be coming back later in the season, even though the reports seem positive right now. But the guy, most importantly, that we need to get right and get healthy is Justin Martinez. And so until that velocity comes back, I don't care what he's telling you, Torey Lovello, have a bullpen before the game, give him 5 pitches. If he can't throw 100 miles per hour, he's not coming out the pen that day. And so until J Mart gets his velocity back, stop pitching him in these games, please, Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, for the D-backs to stay in the wild card race, they're going to need to continue to stack wins. And to do that, they're going to need a fantastic start from Zac Gallen, which we'll preview in segment number 3. But hey, did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. What if you could jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your console in every room? That is why the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K is so amazing. It's portable. You can take it anywhere with you and don't got to lug around a giant console to do it. So head to amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Generation. Back here on the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, and now let's preview the finale and talk about the Jekyll and Hyde season for Zac Gallen. Don't really know the audience demographic in terms of age because that reference might go over your head if you're one of the younger listeners, but Jekyll and Hyde, basically this character from way back in the day with a split personality Probably the new age comparison would be if you saw the movie Split with James McAvoy, how he has multiple personalities. Imagine if he just had two of them. That is Jekyll and Hyde. But the difference is one guy was a good, positive person, one guy was evil and nasty. And Zac Gallen this season, he's been Jekyll and Hyde because there's been some games where he's looked nasty in a good way, and then some games where he's looked nasty in a bad way. And right now, I'm at the point I never thought I would be here, but I'm kind of at the point where I'm not super excited for a Zac Gallen start. Sounds insane to say. Zac Gallen's been probably my favorite pitcher on the D-backs the last few years, but I am concerned for my guy. I do not love what I've seen this season, and even going back to the last couple years, ever since like the second half of his scoreless inning streak. I feel like there's been a lot of up and downs with Zac Gallen the last couple years, and in 2025, the contrast in his up and down between the peaks and the valleys are bigger than ever that we've seen throughout his career. And I'm just concerned. I'm just concerned, guys. This is a guy who we know can deliver a Cy Young performance. We've seen that this year, but we've also seen him deliver performances where he looks like a fringe number 5 starter for the D-backs. And right now, Zac Gallen, I got a kind of crazy comparison. You guys could either agree or disagree with me, but Gallen right now is kind of giving me like Robbie Ray vibes. And it's not like their style play. Robbie Ray was a 3 true outcome guy. Zac Gallen's not that. But in terms of just seeing people who we know are super talented, can put together flashes of brilliance, but you're just like frustrated. You're just like, why can't you put it together consistently? Like, what is wrong with you? That's how I felt about Robbie Ray the last couple years, where he would go like 5 innings, have all these strikeouts, but then also a lot of walks and give up a home run. Zac Gallen doesn't put up a stat line like Robbie Ray, but the feeling's the same, where he has a few innings, maybe a couple are good, a couple are shaky, but you're just not getting that version of Zac Gallen that we know is there. And that's the most frustrating thing. We know this guy can be elite. We know this guy has, Cy Young talent within him, but for some reason, 2025, he has not been able to display it consistently enough. And if you're continuing that Robbie Ray, Zac Gallen comparison, one thing I do not want to see is Zac Gallen to leave in free agency and then immediately become a Cy Young Award winner or just look like a Cy Young candidate once again for another team. Because if that happened, that would be a huge referendum on this D-backs coaching staff and the pitching staff if Zac Gallen just continues to struggle the longer he stays in Arizona. That was kind of the issue with Robbie Ray. He has that 2.89 ERA, and then every single after that, he struggles. Zac Gallen has that scoreless streak in 2023, and then kind of every single season since, he started to go in the wrong direction, and that's a problem. Why do the pitchers who reach the mountaintop, reach their ceiling with the D-backs, have it for like a year or two, and then start to decline? That's a real problem that the D-backs development from their coaches need to look at internally, because Zac Gallen this season, he just been so up and down. And when you look at his game log, it's the definition of Jekyll and Hyde, because literally every other start, it's good or it's bad. It's either 3 earned runs or less, or it's between 4 and 6 earned runs allowed. And it's so funny. You can actually just go through his game log. 4 earned runs, 0 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 6 earned runs, 3 earned runs was his most recent outing. And so if you keep up with the trends, Zac Gallen's next appearance should be a blow-up start for Gallen. So you could go on FanDuel and you could take the unders if you believe in trends for Zac Gallen. But for me, I guess I'm getting religious, because I'm praying Zac Gallen has another New York start like we saw earlier this year, because in 2025, we already saw Zac Gallen dominate a team in New York this season when he went up to the Bronx and dominated the Yankees. It was another time where he was facing off against a red-hot New York team, and he shut down the Yankees. 6.2 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, one of the best starts of his career. But Zac Gallen really hasn't produced anywhere close to that level again this season. I would say that's the best start the D-back starter has had from any member of the rotation so far in 2025. And if Gallen could produce anywhere close to that in the finale, I think the D-backs are going to win. But I'm not sure if he can because he's been so inconsistent this year. But if you do want a silver lining, Gallen has been solid against the Mets throughout his career. 31 innings pitched against the Mets for a 3.77 ERA. He actually has solid numbers against the Mets lineup. Pete Alonso, 4 for 14. Lindor's 3 for 10. Then Juan Soto, 4 for 22. So Zac Gallen does a pretty good job against this New York Mets lineup. Meanwhile, the D-backs lineup has not done a good job against Kodai Senga, who has been dominated by him so far in his career. 14 innings pitched, 1 earned run over 2 starts against the D-backs. This lineup only has 3 career hits against Senga, and so not a lot of success. That forkball that Senga throws has been unhittable in 2025. He has only allowed 3 hits in 35 at-bats. He has allowed a .086 slug on that forkball, so it is a nasty, dominant pitch. The pitch you want to wait for is that four-seamer by Senga because a 324 average, a 588 slug allowed this season. That's the pitch you want to hit if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks. The D-backs, they use a lot of their best relievers in the game today, so you're going to need Zac Gallen to give you length and look like prime Zac Gallen. Let's not sit our best players in the finale. Let's go out there with a sense of urgency and actually try to win the series, and let's see if the D-backs can score enough runs to give Zac Gallen some run support and shut down the New York Mets. Now, that's it for this edition of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. Come back tomorrow for more Diamondbacks news coverage and insight. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. Doses.